Hello and welcome. It is week 12 on iRacing. This is the Team Conti Sim Performance Track Guide for the NASCAR NextGen car at Worldwide Technology Raceway, also known as Gateway. Michael Conti here again to walk you through 30 laps or so at Gateway. This is a really unique track. Nothing like anything else that we go to on the schedule. So it takes a bit of a different technique around here, and takes a couple different techniques, with both ends being really different from one another. So we'll go through this run, talk about what I'm doing driving wise, my approach, my rationale to making these decisions, and then we'll dive into how this car will develop over the course of the run. Now really, the biggest thing to watch for at Gateway is just not overdriving entry. At both ends, really. 1 and 2 is the steeper end of the track with more banking, so you can get away with carrying a bit more speed into that corner. But still, as the run goes on and the tires fall off, if you overdrive entry, especially if you're carrying too much speed during that downshift there, it can really start to swing the rear out. And at the other end of the track, into 3, carrying too much speed on entry will limit your ability to turn and roll through the center with a lot of good speed, so don't overdrive. We'll talk about some brake markers throughout this to look for. Going down the backstretch here, heading into turn 3, not a whole lot of brake markers, but this caution light on the wall, we're not braking at it, but as it really starts to come into view, probably braking 3 to 4 car lengths before that. Brake in such a way to where you can roll with enough speed into the corner to make lap time, but not so much that it feels like your front end is just sliding up the track and not able to cut center. Into 1 and 2, and we'll show it the next lap, or I'll call it out again. There's a point on the track where it looks like it's a little bit more rubbered up. That's where I usually start to lift and brake. Down in 3 and 4, I'm keeping it in 4th gear. 4th gear from the exit of turn 2 all the way down the back and into 3 and 4. You can shift up to 5th down the front stretch depending on what your pace is at, but for me in this run, I'm just going to chip it out. Running a little bit above the first sealer seam in 1 and 2. Don't want to get below that. It's a little bit less banked down there. We'll really get the car de-wedged and loose. It's a very fine line in 1 and 2 between running too low and too high. In 3 and 4, enter about a quarter car width off the curb, slide up in the center, and then cut it back down for a nice straight drive off of exit. Into 1 here, watch for the change in shade on the track right there. Heavy braking down to 3rd. Left front on the seam, slide up a little bit in the center, open up my center, and then turn it back down the track, again, to get a straight drive up off. Very easy to spin up the rear tires on exit there, so be disciplined with your throttle and don't rush to commit before you've got good rear grip. Tire wear isn't massive this week, but it makes enough of a difference to where if you go full bore the first 5 to 10 laps, you're really going to struggle for overall grip later. So running a pace right now that I would probably use in a race. Not the fastest overall first 5 laps, but it should make it to where I can maneuver and make some time past 20. Good amount of initial brake pressure at both ends. 30-ish% or so. Carry that into the entry and probably through the 3/8 mark, possibly center. So a good amount of trail brake at both ends to keep the nose rotating. Try to drive in as straight as possible as you're doing that downshift. And if you downshift too early or while you have too much wheel turned in through the braking zone, it can really slip the rear, especially later on, so just watch out for that. Dynamic track this week, I don't really think it's going to move the lane around too much in 1 and 2. 3 and 4, you may be able to roll a little bit lower or enter a bit higher and cut down to get out of the rubber, but I don't think this is going to be like Charlotte where we're really making wholesale changes to our lines and approaches as the race goes on. little bump into turn 3 if you get really close to that apron, or that curbing rather, so just be on the lookout for that. I'm going to switch my tracker over to session last lap, so I'm not trying to race against the time that's really not achievable. Like we talked about last week, that really screws up with your mental state. You can begin to unconsciously overdrive the car, so to avoid that, I'm going to switch that over on the straightaway here. Nice long straightaway, so you can get a lot done here. There we go. So now we're gauging against the last lap. Hard brake at the change in pavement color. Downshift to third. On the seam, slide up in the center, and then just lots of part throttle rolling around the center. All the way up onto the straightaway. Have to be smooth here. Don't need to manhandle the car. Don't need to force the car to do things that it doesn't want to do. Just let the car work. Let it do its thing. It will make lap time. It's 10 complete right there. It's a little aggressive on the downshift there, and I could feel the rear just slide out a bit. But no harm, no foul. Everything's okay. If I do that every lap, though, I'll really start to upset that right rear. So shifting a little bit later into the braking zone into 1 at a lower RPM is probably not a bad idea, just to prevent some of that rear slip. You want to use the engine braking that downshifting allows, but you don't want to use so much that you're chattering the rear tires. Now later in the run, we may not even shift down into third, into 1 and 2. I'm going to try it right here and see if we can roll with enough speed. It's going to be definitely bogged down. I'll lose a little bit on exit. Yeah, lose a little bit too much right there. Really good for rear tire management, but for pace, probably going to need to shift down into third. We'll try that again in a few laps and see if the grip's fallen off enough to where third doesn't help anymore. There, I'll start to make the time back up. Yep. I think that's where leveraging the tracker in your practice sessions is really useful, so you can see how your changes and what you're doing directly affect the lap time in real time. So you can see what's making a positive change and what maybe isn't. Opened up my entry a little bit more right there. I think that's going to be good for center rotation. Yeah, a little better drive up off. Nice and easy into 3. Very easy to overdrive this end. Very flat, long, sweeping corner. Similar to 1 and 2 at Phoenix. Car's driving really well right now. I think I did a good job managing tires early. Plenty of grip at both ends of the car. Hopefully I don't jinx it. Just watch that wheel spin off at 2 as we get deeper into this run. Heavy brake. Down to the bottom, slide up a bit in the center, off the brake, cut it back down. Good drive up off right there, really nice forward drive, 15 in here. Let's try not shifting again. On the throttle a little bit earlier, no wheel spin. And yeah, still a little bit of loss right there, just too bogged down. Last year we were able to get away with it a bit more. We had a little bit different RPM range we were working in. This year we're in more of a box, so I think that downshift's going to work longer into the run, but all depends on the track temp too. If the track's really cold and the pace is picked up, then I think fourth might work a bit better, but when you're going at this pace, you really just need third to pull you up off. being very careful to not slip the right rear on entry. As I put that left front on the sealer and then slide up, that sealer can really hook the thing, make it turn all at once, which is great in some aspects, but it can also start to upset the rear. I think I've probably said upset the rear at least 10 times already, so you know that that's what we're looking out for here. Approaching 20 into the run, starting to lose a little bit more pace, which is to be expected. It's about as aggressive as I could have been right there with my entry. Definitely on the limit. Feels like a good entry to 3 and 4. Yeah, some good forward bite, some good turn in the center. A really solid lap. 30 or 20 right there, rather. Just go back into managing here. Make sure we've got some good tire left by 30. Car's still very neutral. Little bit tight rolling center 3 and 4, but that's just Gateway for you. If you make the center 3 and 4 loose, you're gonna die at this end of the track. So just a little bit of a compromise there. Plus the way the NextGen's set up with the negative brake and the front end always up off the track, it just naturally makes the front a bit numb when you're rolling at a slow speed. That's what these guys deal with a lot of in real life with the short track stuff. I would say strategy-wise this week, track position is going to be important. 2 tires at the end of a race would probably be a pretty decent move to make. Left sides don't wear too terribly here. I think you'll probably be limited with that left rear, since that one gets quite a bit of abuse on corner exit when you're pulling out of this turn right here in third. You can definitely spin that one up, but four tires will always be quicker than 2 over the course of a run, but if you've got a short sprint to the finish, I think you really want to be out front. Coming up to start 25 here. A little more aggressive into 1. Took it really well. Still rolled center. Good drive off. Really good for this point. Little slippy slip there. Just trying to get after it. Bit me a bit. You can see me driving harder. It was not positive for the lap time there. Back to my point earlier, just Take what the car gives you. Don't force it to do what it doesn't want to. It's not going to go any faster. That whole lap is a bit messy. Let's see how it evolves here. Open up that center a little bit. Try to get a straighter shot up off. That was good right there. Still a little slip. Much more manageable. Some good forward drive down the backstretch. Good rotation through 3 and 4. Really nice corner there. That entry a bit more that time. Gain a little bit in the center. Lose a little bit of off just because I got a bit low, but not bad. We're talking 100th or 2, plus or minus. It in deep right there, but it took it. So I've got some good tire left here as we approach 30. Pat myself in the back. Good job, Mike. You managed your tires. Took me 15 years to figure it out, but I think I finally got there. All right, coming to take lap 30 here. Get all it's got. Good drive up off. Woo. Look out. Use up all the space and entry to get as much of an angle as possible so I can try to roll center with some good rotation. Did that. Hard on the throttle up off, use up all the track, and to complete lap 30, 34.99. So, like I talked about down here, you will not want to run here. You may be forced to be on the very bottom on a restart. Just remember, as you come up off of turn 2 and you cross that sealer seam, as that banking changes and you go over that transition, you can really get the car upset. So just watch that diffuser for bottoming out over there. 3 and 4 bump right there. Watch out for that. Pit road entry is challenging here, so let's actually roll around and do a pit road entry. Hopefully I don't make a fool of myself. These are live now, so if I wreck, then at least you know what not to do, but I'll try not to do that. There we go, coming around off of turn 2. We're in a pit this time, telling everybody pit, 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 pit. Spotting the access road right here. Shaving off speed. It's very bumpy. Now I want to hustle around here as best as I can. Watch the cone comes up quick. There we go, not bad. So really watch out for that pit road entry and make sure you practice that before your races. I'm sure we're going to have some people blow it and fly up onto the track. Hopefully they don't cause cautions. I think we had enough of that at Charlotte, so maybe we've learned from that. Maybe not, we'll find out. But overall though, that is Gateway in a nutshell. 30-lap run, solid one at that, so hopefully that gives you all some good context behind the notes that we've got this week. Gives you a good baseline to start doing your practice runs with. And hopefully we have another solid week. Charlotte was awesome. Had a fantastic time running with everybody. Some really big wins and some good races. So super proud of what we've done here at Charlotte and what we've done over the course of season 2. It's been huge for TCSP, and we wouldn't be here without you all. So thank you for being a part of this. Thank you for watching the Week 12 Track Guide for the NextGen car at Gateway. Michael Conti here again. We'll see you during Week 13. Take care, everybody.